Hey guys, it's your girl Forever Jazz. It's been a long time since I did a video, and that's because I just had a 2-month-old baby girl. And during my pregnancy, I wasn't able to film because I had hyperemesis, which was just really severe morning sickness. I had it from the time I found out I was pregnant until the time I had her, which was terrible. The first 4 months were, of course, the worst part. I couldn't keep anything down. Only thing I really could eat was pizza, and even some days that wouldn't stay down. Constantly had to go to the hospital to get fluids because I kept getting dehydrated. So my pregnancy was definitely very rough. But luckily, my daughter came out to be fairly healthy. When she was born, she did have a low body temperature, so they released us, and then we had to go back to the hospital, and she had to stay for about an extra 2 days, which it wasn't too bad. But other than that, she's a healthy baby girl. And she seems to be developing fine at 2 months old. But I don't see how people can repeatedly get pregnant because my pregnancy was rough. And I understand that every pregnancy is different, everybody doesn't experience it, and that's all fine and dandy. But for me personally, I can't even see myself going through it again. It was so rough, and I felt like my whole life had just stopped because I was so sick. But anyways, let's get into my birth story. So I went into my 38-week appointment, and I wasn't expecting what was about to happen next. I went in thinking like, okay, 2 more weeks and I'm gonna meet my baby girl. But my doctor had another thing planned for me. When I got there, she told me I was already scheduled to go in that night to be induced. And I was just shocked, like, and confused. But since my blood pressure had been so up and down during my pregnancy, she just didn't want to risk it anymore. So I had to have her early, which in the long run, I've come to terms with it. At first, I was kind of upset and just in shock because, I just wanted it to happen naturally. I didn't want to get induced, but I know it probably was what was best for both of us because my health had to come first in that situation, and I'm not a doctor, so who am I to say what's right or what's wrong when it comes to a situation like that? I never had blood pressure issues before becoming pregnant. This is something that developed over the course of my pregnancy. It's never something I had to worry about. So when you do become pregnant, a lot of things change in your body, things that you would never even think about. So we got to the hospital Thursday, December 28th, 2017, around 9 p.m. I had to get some blood work done and some tests ran, and they had to just monitor the baby for a while before I finally got admitted to a room on December 29th at 12 a.m. They started me off with a pill to induce my labor. After about 4 hours, it still had no effect. It didn't do anything. I went to sleep. The nurse came in, woke me up, asked me if I was feeling anything. And I'm like, no, I still felt the same. I was only dilated to 1.5 centimeters. This was around 4 o'clock in the morning. And, I'm just laying there like, what's next? Because it was really hard to get up and use the bathroom and stuff because they have you hooked up to the baby monitor, the blood pressure monitor. They have this IV in you. So you're just laying in bed, like you're on bed rest basically. So at that point, they decided it was time to give me some Pitocin in my IV. Um, at first, the effects were very mild. It was just like mild cramps, like on your period. Every hour or so, they would come in and crank it up a little more, crank it up a little more, and the cramps just got a little more intense and a little more intense. By about 10 a.m., the pain had become so unbearable for me. My contractions had started coming 1 minute apart, and I was still only 1 centimeter dilated because, of course, my baby really wasn't ready yet, and they were making her come. So I was in so much pain. I went in with the idea that I was gonna go natural, but if I needed an epidural, I would get one. So when it came down to it, I did have to get an epidural because I was just in so much pain. And I heard when you get induced, it's actually more pain as opposed to your baby coming naturally on their own. And I can believe that. I can. So at this time, I started going back and forth to the bathroom, and I started to lose my mucus plug. So at first I was seeing the blood, and I'm like, wait a minute, it's blood. I'm bleeding, mucus, and then I thought about it like, oh yeah, it's the mucus plug. So at that point, of course, blood is completely normal. So around 1:30 p.m., my mom called to check on me. And we're on the phone just talking. And, well, really, we didn't even get a chance to talk. Really, she called me, and she's like, how's things? Before she could even finish her sentence, I'm like, oh, my God, I think my water just broke. And my water definitely had just broke. So, at that point, the contractions had gone from intense to me just feeling like the pressure of them coming along. The hours went by. I started to really not be able to feel my legs. That's the only thing with that epidural. You start to not be able to feel your lower body, which can kind of be scary. Like, I needed assistance just to scoot in the bed, like just scoot up a little bit. It was crazy. Like, they had one person had to be on one side, another person had to be on the other side and help lift me because I just couldn't feel my legs. Finally, around 5 o'clock, I started feeling the urge to push. So we began the pushing process because my doctor said if you feel like you need to push, we can start pushing. So we started pushing, and of course nothing was happening. Then around 7 p.m. I started to feel the urge to push a little bit more. Tried to push, nothing was happening. She started coming out a little bit more, but then I got out of breath, so her head got stuck in my cervix because my doctor said that I have a small cervix. So since I was out of breath and I couldn't continue to push, she got stuck. And they had to give me some oxygen. Once they gave me some oxygen and I was ready to start pushing again, we started pushing. And around 8:12 p.m., I welcomed my baby girl, Savannah. Due to the fact of her head being stuck though, she did end up coming out with like cone head. It only lasted about a day or so, so it wasn't too bad, but her head was kind of like funny shape just because she did get stuck in my cervix. But I'm just happy that she was okay and she made it through. But thank you guys for watching. Look forward to more videos from me now that I've gotten through that process. Let me know if you want to see more pregnancy related videos, some newborn videos, or what type of content you guys are looking forward to. Some baby girl hauls, maybe your nursery tour. Just let me know what you guys would like to see. Thank you. See you guys next time.